Hi, Dr. Mutasarajaz here, and issue people watching my YouTube channel. And today, I'm gonna discuss reading part C. As I have told you earlier, that OET has got four subtests: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And reading itself has got three parts: A, B, and C. And among these three parts, OET part C is the difficult part. Okay, so that's why I need to talk about OET reading part C just to simplify things for you people. So, in reading part C, the most important thing is time management because you'll be given reading part B and C together, and you need to answer both B and C. Overall, 22 questions, 16 questions from part C, and 6 questions from part B in 45 minutes. So, practically, you have got 2 minutes for each question. And other than like your skills of general comprehension, superficial comprehension, reading part C is also about your skill of analysis. First thing you need to do is to understand the topic. Topic here is the case for and against e-cigarettes. So it means that in this text you're gonna see some arguments in favor of e-cigarettes and some arguments against it. Now coming towards question number one, because my way of teaching is you need to go through the stem of the question first. Here the stem of the question is, what does the writer suggest about the research into e-cigarettes? So this is the stem of the question. So don't go into the choices before reading the paragraph. So I think stem of the question is really important because it gives you a background. So now reading the paragraph. Paragraph 1. Let's see whether there is an answer in paragraph 1 or not. Electronic cigarettes first hit European and American markets in 2007, 2006 and 2007, and their popularity has been propelled by international trends favoring smoke-free environments. Sales reportedly have reached 650 million a year in Europe and were estimated to reach 3.6 million in the US in 2018. So, do you see any answer here? Because here I can only see some financial aspects and market values of e-cigarettes. So coming going towards the next paragraph. So although research, yeah, here they're talking about research. Although research on e-cigarettes is not extensive, a picture is beginning to emerge. Surveys suggest that the vast majority of those who use e-cigarettes treat them as smoking cessation aids and self-report that they have been key to quitting. Data also indicate that e-cigarettes help to reduce tobacco cigarette consumption. A 2011 survey based on cohort of first-time e-cigarette purchasers found that 66% reported reducing the number of cigarettes that they smoke per day, and after 6 months, 31% reported not smoking. The results compare favorably with nicotine replacement therapies like the patch and nicotine gum. Interestingly, a randomized control trial found that e-cigarettes not containing nicotine were effective both in achieving a reduction of tobacco cigarette consumption and longer term abstinence, suggesting that factors such as rituals associated with cigarette handling and manipulation may also play an important role. Some tobacco control advocates worry that they simply deliver an insufficient amount of nicotine to ultimately prove effective for cessation. So the question was about the research. So here you see they are talking about researches, they are talking about surveys, they are talking about NRTs, nicotine replacement therapies. They are also talking about some non-nicotine e-cigarettes, data, and all that stuff. So here you can find the answer. So before going for answer, I need to highlight one thing that at times you may encounter a longer paragraph. So this paragraph was a bit longer. That's why I need to highlight this fact that no matter whether it's a long paragraph or a short paragraph, you need to go through the whole paragraph. And you need to get at the bottom of that paragraph. So I always tell my students that if you can reduce the whole paragraph into one sentence, then I think you have understood it. And if you cannot reduce the whole paragraph in one sentence, in one idea, then I think your basic understanding of that paragraph is missing. Okay, so make sure while you are reading, especially while you are doing reading part C, you are trying to get at the bottom of that paragraph. So here you can see they are talking about like some researches, some surveys, some RCTs, randomized control trials that confirm the fact that these nicotine replacement therapies or e-cigarettes, they can help in smoking cessation. So that is the crux. Crux is e-cigarettes can help smoking cessation. That is the crux. Okay, so that's why I spend some time to let you people know. Okay, now coming towards options. Not in for option one is not enough research is being carried out, and option okay, and option B was about early conclusions are appearing from the evidence. Option 3 C, sorry, too much of available data is self-reported, and option delta is an extensive picture of e-cigarettes use has emerged. So in the paragraph, they are mentioning that although research on e-cigarettes is not that much extensive, but a picture is beginning to emerge. That is what written in the paragraph. Okay, you can see the paragraph. Okay, so that's why I think answer for this question is beta. Early conclusions are being drawn. Okay, then comes the next question. Early conclusions are appearing from the evidence. This is the answer. What explanation does the writer offer for the effect of non-nicotine e-cigarettes? So again, a question from same paragraph. Generally, there is one question from one paragraph. Okay. So question number two: what explanation does the writer offer for effect of non-nicotine e-cigarettes? So here you can see like the fourth last line in the paragraph. Interestingly, a randomized control trial found that e-cigarettes not containing nicotine are helpful. So it shows that there are some behavioral elements attached to these things. Behavioral elements means the way people are handling cigarettes, their manipulation, the way they are sitting with their friends, the way they take puff of cigarette with tea, without tea, so on and so forth. So these are behaviors associated with smoking. That's why even non-nicotine e-cigarettes are helpful. So question number three: what does Chapman and the other scientists, what are their views about these treatment options? So, nevertheless, the tobacco control community had embraced FDA-approved treatments, NRTs, as well as the drugs bupropion and penicillin, and relatively low success rates. In a commentary published in Journal of American Medical Association, smoking cessation experts Andrew Smith and Simon Chapman of University of Sydney said that smoking cessation drugs fail most of those who try them. Sadly, it remains the case that by far the most common outcome at 6 to 12 months after using such medication in real world scenario is no effect. Okay, so you need to know here whether they are in favor of e-cigarettes or against e-cigarettes. So that is the crux of that will gonna be the crux of this paragraph. So, do you think these people, Andrew Smith and Stephen Chapman, they are in favor of e-cigarettes or against e-cigarettes? Of course, they are against e-cigarettes. So, what they're saying is these medications are not that much helpful. They are generally unsuccessful because they are saying, sadly, it remains the case that by far the most common outcome at 6 to 12 months after using such medication in real world settings is continuing smoking. It means smoking cessation is not there despite using such medications. And next, they are saying few, if any, other drugs with such records would ever be prescribed, as these medications have got good results. So that's why nobody will advise them, nobody will prescribe them for smoking cessation. Or like if you are prescribing some medications with similar results for some other disease, so they are saying that it is not a good idea, and nobody, no medical professional will prescribe such medication with such results. Okay, so option here is okay. So there are like multiple options given, you need to see it. Okay, option A says they approve of and embrace treatment. No, they don't approve of. They consider the largely unsuccessful. Yeah, that is a good option. Option C, they think they should be replaced with other treatments. No, there is no talk about replacement. And fourth, they believe they should never be prescribed as treatments. So option beta, they consider them largely unsuccessful as treatments. Okay, and option delta is still not acceptable because they they don't say that these medications shouldn't have been prescribed, although they are against such medications, but they are not saying that they shouldn't have been like prescribed in the first place. Okay, so that's why, like you see, few if any other drugs with such records would ever be prescribed. Okay, so although they are against such medications, but they are not saying, that does not mean that they are saying that they shouldn't have been prescribed. Okay, they are highlighting its failures, they are highlighting that this is not a successful thing, but still they are not saying that they shouldn't have been prescribed. Okay, so we are done with all three questions. Now we need to move to the question number 4. So question number 4 says that what problem with one of the studies is mentioned in the paragraph 4. So we need to go to paragraph number 4. Paragraph number 4 is here. Amongst smokers who not intending to quit e-cigarettes, both with and without nicotine, substantially reduced consumption in a randomized controlled trial, not only resulting in decreased cigarette consumption but also enduring tobacco abstinence. In a second study from 2013, the authors reported that 24 months, 12.5% of smokers remained abstinent, while another 27% reduced their tobacco cigarette consumption by 50%. Finally, third study, commissioned to in Australia, has come to the same conclusion, though a high dropout rate makes these findings questionable. So there are three studies mentioned here, and you need to know that there is a problem in study number 3, and that is high dropout rates. So option here is, again, there are three studies you need to look at your screen. Study number 1, like helpful. Study number 2 was also helpful, but there was some problem in study number 3, and that was high dropout rate. So answer here is research question study asked, that is the number of participants who left the study. I think that is a suitable option. uh, the similarity of conclusion, the study used e-cigarettes without. So I think option number B is the correct option. So then comes question number 5. What is these in paragraph 5 referring to? What is these highlighted word these in paragraph 5 referring to? So coming back to the paragraph number 5, users widely perceive e-cigarettes to be less toxic, while FDA has found trace elements of carcinogens levels as comparable to those found in nicotine replacement therapies. Results from a laboratory study released in 2013 found that while e-cigarettes contain contaminants, the levels of cigarettes for 9 to 450 lower than in tobacco cigarettes. These are comparable. So these means there is something mentioned in the previous sentence. These are comparable with trace amounts of toxic or carcinogenic substances found in medicinal nicotine inhalers. So here you see these and these. This word these is associated with something that is mentioned in the previous line. And what is this word? This word is actually the contaminants, levels of contaminants. Okay, so whenever you see such words, these, this, that, you need to see in the previous line or a previous sentence for answer. Okay, here these means like contaminants, levels of contaminants. Okay, that is just range of 9 to 450. Okay, so right option here is option A is like laboratory study results, P nicotine inhalers, C contaminants levels for tobacco cigarettes. So answer is contaminants levels, okay, and not others. So reading the whole paragraph before going for next question. A prominent anti-tobacco advocate Stanton claims has warned of the need to protect people from second-hand emissions, while one laboratory study indicates that passive vaping is smoking e-cigarettes commonly known releases. Okay, reading. Okay, coming back to the scenario. Okay, smoking e-cigarettes is commonly known releases volatile organic compounds and ultrafine particles into the indoor environments. It noted that the actual health impact is unknown and should remain a chief concern. A 2014 study concluded that e-cigarettes are a source of second-hand exposure to nicotine but not to toxins. Nevertheless, bystanders are exposed to 10 times less nicotine exposure from e-cigarettes compared to tobacco cigarettes. So here you see first they are talking about that vaping can leave some toxic, not toxic, but volatile organic compounds in the indoor environment. Then again, they are saying 2014 studies where opposite was true. Okay, so like crux of this paragraph is they are in favor of e-cigarettes as opposed to smoking, as tobacco smoking. So e-cigarettes releases dangerous toxins into the air. E-cigarettes could should be banned. E-cigarettes are more toxic. No, e-cigarettes present a far greater risk of second-hand exposure to toxins. Cigarettes produce, yeah, that's what they are saying. Option delta. So option delta is the true option. Okay, because e-cigarettes are not banned. E-cigarettes are not giving more toxins. Similarly, e-cigarettes are not favorable. E-cigarettes are, of course, favorable as compared to tobacco smokers. Tobacco smoking, when it comes to the comparison between smoking and tobacco smoking, I think that is like easy for you people from here onwards. Okay, moving towards the next question. Next question is the word uniform in paragraph 7 suggests the e-cigarettes should. We need to go to the paragraph number 7 to answer this question. This highlighted word uniform, what does it mean? Okay, paragraph 7 says there are a number of interesting points of agreements among proponents of skeptics of e-cigarettes. First, all agree that regulations to ensure the quality of e-cigarettes should be uniform. So it must be uniform. This is first point of agreement. Laboratory analysis have found sometimes wide variations across brains in level of carcinogens. Okay. Second proponent second proponent detractors of e-cigarettes tend to agree that e-cigarettes are a safer alternative to tobacco cigarette consumption. The main concern is how e-cigarettes might shape tobacco use patterns on population level. Okay, so there are 2 points of agreements. So uniform here is related to regulation. Uniform here is related to regulation. Uh, these laws and regulations should be applicable without any discrimination. Uniform application of law, uniform application of regulation. So uniform here is in the sense of without discrimination, solid across the globe, across the political divide, across the gender divide application of regulation. So that's what uniform here means. Okay, and secondly, you need to understand two main points of agreements here as well, because that is the crux of this paragraph. You need to understand the gist of the paragraph as well. For example, you can easily answer this by reading the first line, but still you need to read the whole paragraph in order to understand the crux of the whole paragraph. So options are: be clearly regulated against, only come to in parents, and so on and so forth. So option here is be clearly regulated against. Okay. So now moving towards because uniform means you need to apply the laws without discrimination. So last question. In B of the standard quality contain no contaminants. No, option A is the true option, correct option. Last is, what do both critics and sports the executives agree? On which point they do agree? So first point was uniformity of regulation, and second point was you need to go to the paragraph in order to answer this question. That what is the area on which they do agree? First point of agreement was uniformity of law, and second point of agreement was like e-cigarettes, like smoking tobacco is more dangerous than vaping, because they are saying that vaping is least, like less harmful than tobacco smoking. So option C is the correct option. Smoking tobacco is more dangerous than vaping. So that is from my side for you people. And thank you so much for watching. I really hope that is helpful for you people. So here you see the main concern. Second proponent declared e-cigarettes are a safer alternative. So safer alternative means smoking tobacco is more dangerous than vaping. That is option C. So thank you so much for your time, and please like and subscribe to my channel. I really hope this is helpful for you people. If you have any questions, any queries regarding what we have discussed today, you can leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much.